Hey everybody, welcome back. We're doing another Black and White Nights commentary on a movie that's actually in black and white, and that is the classic Thing from Another World. This movie is something special. Just saying.
And we didn't have to put it in black and white.
Exactly, yeah, we're just going with it with exactly what it is. Uh, so when did you first see this movie?
Oh man, I actually tried to think about that today. I can't I can't hard nail it down, but I would imagine when I was a little kid, my mom had this thing where she cleaned the house on Sundays,
Mm-hmm.
and part of that um, deal was I have no idea what channel it was back then when I was that young, but they ran black and white movies all day. And
Nice.
a lot of times it was either Sherlock Holmes, or they would run Godzilla movies, or some of the old sci-fi 50s movies, like this movie.
Oh
Um
yeah.
and so I probably at that point started to, really appreciate black and white. Plus, I mean, I was born in '70, so I mean, I, you know, there were plenty of reruns, for a lot of the old TV shows. So it was normal to, you know, um, be watching Leave It to Beaver and all that. Anything that
Oh
was
yeah.
had a black and white run, back in the day. So, but of recent, back, I would say about 20 years ago, they're roundabout back when TCM was really, you know, big.
Oh yeah.
Um, I must have caught it around Halloween season or something. I must have caught it, and I was able to record it because I had surfed out ahead and saw that it was coming, and so I recorded it on a VHS tape back when you still did that stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
And I think it was at that point where I just fell in love with it. And I think I nearly, ran that VHS tape out of,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
had to re-record it again and had it on again. And then somewhere along the line, I picked up the copy that me and you are both running with tonight, the Snapper case. Warner, is it the Archive?
Honestly, I think it was even before Warner Archive existed. You
So,
know.
and now, of course, you know, yeah.
Yeah. No.
So it's I don't know, with a lot of these movies, they sort of just fell into a weird little niche or place for me at weird times. So this isn't definitely not one of those movies where I could like pinpoint and say, like I can when I was 5 and saw Jaws in the theater, and that made its indelible mark on my life.
Yeah.
I wish I had a moment for this, but I don't. It's just one of those that fell in there. So what about you?
For me, I'd always my dad had always told me about this movie with like a killer vegetable,
Huh.
and I always found it kind of funny. That I realized eventually what he was talking about, and I actually found it. This is really weird. It was at the local library. They had a section of VHS tapes that you could take
Sure.
out. And I remember what I got. I got The Thing from Another World, I got The Shining, and I got The Exorcist.
Wow.
All on VHS. I watched them. Sufficient to say I loved two of them, and the other one was meh. Just saying. And it wasn't The Exorcist or The Thing. So we'll leave that to everyone's
That's
imagination.
yeah, that's funny. So
Yeah.
so this was a rental out of, or not really a rental, but this was grabbing out of the library.
Yeah. I mean, I'd always heard about it, and I'd actually seen, the John Carpenter remake, many times, but I'd never seen the original. And then, I was there and I saw this, and I was like, you know what? Like it was free, to take them out of the library. You didn't have to pay for it or whatever. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. I took it home. I watched it. Sufficient to say, later that night, I went upstairs, got like my parents' VCR, and hooked it up to mine, and made a nice little copy of it. So
That's so funny you mentioned that, because that reminds me that I when we lived back home in New York in Jamestown, the Jamestown Public Library, gee, way back in the day,
mm,
um, they did that. They had a room in the library where they had all their VHS. Initially, it was all VHS, and then I remember they transitioned over to DVD.
mm,
Um, but I remember there was a time when I don't know what first drew me in there. I think I went into the library anyways, and so when I realized I could rent stuff for free,
yeah, it
I,
was like,
I would yeah, you just start scouring the shelves and looking for things. In fact, I think the library is where, and there is a connection here. The library is actually where I think I first rented Battleground with that old one with a young Ricardo Montalban,
oh yeah,
Van Johnson, but uh, James Arness, who of course plays the Thing,
oh yeah,
uh, is in there in Battleground, and I remember that, and I'm sure there was a slew of other stuff that I couldn't believe was actually sitting there on the shelf that I could take home for. Um,
for free, literally.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I remember doing that too. It's funny you said that. I haven't thought about getting stuff out of a library, and geez.
Yeah,
I do remember though, I don't know about you, but I do remember that when they transitioned to DVD, that didn't last too long for me, because it became real apparent to me very quick that there were a lot of people out there that just did not know how to take care or handle DVDs when they had them at home for that
very
short
true.
period of time.
Very
Uh,
true.
and that's funny. That's a reason why I generally stay away from the red box unless the thing just came out.
Yeah, definitely. Um, it's the sort of thing. I mean, I say say what you want about VHS. You know, they could take a beating.
Oh yeah.
You could drop a VHS tape and like break part of it, and literally just get like a donor tape, like take it apart and put it back together, and it would play just fine. You know, you drop a DVD and you get a scratch on it, you're kind of screwed. I mean, I know Blu-ray is definitely a stronger format, if you will. To this day, I've never seen a scratched Blu-ray.
Really?
Never. And I've bought movies and I've had them. They've been like literally floating in the case. Like they've come off of the
Right.
spindle and they've been flying around inside, and I've never found a scratched one.
Huh. That's it. I don't know if I really consciously thought about it. I do remember back when back when the video stores had fully transitioned from VHS to probably a fully stocked shelves of DVD.
Mhm.
There was a store that I used to go to. God, what was that? Hollywood Video, I think maybe it was called.
Oh, okay.
And so they had a gaming part and the movie. And so, but I think because they had both in there, in the gaming area where they had the games that you could rent, they
Mhm.
had apparently in the back, one of their back rooms, they had a pretty sophisticated cleaning unit,
Oh, nice.
just to stay on top of their, because people just don't know how
Oh
to take
yeah.
care of stuff. And so I remember every once in a while, if I, because they would sell you stuff, and I would buy a movie. like I'm thinking that's where I picked up my anniversary edition of Halloween for one
Oh, nice.
DVD. But I remember Downfall, that Hitler film.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh, I picked that up used there, and I remember that needed to be rebuffed out a little bit. So I just took it back in, and they took it back there and rebuffed it out for me, beautiful, like it was brand new. And
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the thing, if you can do that and it works, I have no problem with that. One time I saw a bit of a horror story. I was in this record store, and they sell like used CDs, movies, and everything. And they buff their discs before they do it. And the person in front of me was buying something. I forget what it was, but it was a CD. I know that. And they were buffing it. And then the guy behind the desk calls another guy over, and he's like, kind of like look at this. He'd buffed it so hard he'd like put like essentially a burn in the disc.
no.
Yeah, they had to not sell it to the guy because he'd essentially ruined it.
Oh.
And I was just thinking like, ooh. So much so that if I was buying like a CD, I'd be like, just leave it. I'll buff it myself at home.
So before we gear this thing up, I'm just curious if you could just like off, and this really is off the top of your head because we didn't even think this stuff out, but if you had a top five of your all-time personal black and white favorite films, would The Thing from Another World be in there?
Uh yeah, I think it would. I mean, this is one of those movies that I remember when I first saw it. I've only seen it in black and white. I've never seen the colorized version, but I just remember thinking, like, I can't watch this movie in any other way. It needs to be in black and white. And you know, there are certain movies like that. Like you see them and you're just like kind of like, yeah, black and white's the way to go. And it also think of it this way. The movie Them?
Yep.
Could you imagine that in color?
Absolutely not.
It would look horrible. It would look so cheesy and over the top, but the black and white gives it like a level of class, you know? Which is kind of funny when you're talking about something like The Thing or Them or, like The Deadly Mantis or whatever. I don't know. But
I just watched that the other night.
you
Freaking
can't go
awesome.
wrong with that. Yeah. You can't go wrong with black and white. It just
So
it
this film in particular would make that top five black and white list, you think?
definitely, yeah. There'd be
Eh,
Citizen Kane, Touch of Evil, Thing from Another World, Them, and it's a newer movie, but I'll put in The Lighthouse
Okay.
because that looks really good.
See, I didn't even think when I dropped this question on you, I didn't think far enough ahead of it to think up for myself. But boy, off the top of my head, I'm trying to think just some of the movies that they would have to be there, I guess, just because I watch them freaking all the time. Um, The Thing from Another World, of course, would be in there. Them, yeah, that would probably be. How many think here? Spider Baby for sure.
Nice.
Um, Casablanca.
Okay.
Freaking love that movie. Absolutely freaking, and that'll come up during this movie because it's one of the memorable things in that movie for me is dialogue. I just freaking love the
Mm.
dialogue in that movie. Trying to think, black and white. Maybe Dam Busters would have to be in there.
Nice.
Um,
I forgot to mention Psycho.
yeah, that is true. Yeah, Psycho. Yeah.
Well, I
As
tell
far
you
as
what.
I was gonna say, as far as the new movies go, you hit the
Excuse me.
Lighthouse.
Yeah.
I think I'll just throw the Broom edition of the Mist out there.
Oh, nice.
That to me, man, that movie is so freaking gorgeous in black and white.
Oh yeah.
It's like a different movie, really. It's
It is. It feels like, a 50s creature feature
yeah.
where, when you watch the color version, it feels like a modern horror film. It's kind of weird.
I
It's
was
kind
gonna
of
say,
weird that just taking out the color can make that big a difference sometimes.
yeah, I was gonna say too, maybe of all the Universal movies, um, at least I would have to think about if I were coming up like a real top 10 list or something. The Invisible Man, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Claude Rains, man, is freaking real in that movie.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. All of the essentially the Universal monsters were awesome in black and white.
Yeah, oh yeah, in black and white, definitely. Some were as movies more awesome than others. I don't know for whatever reason. This is probably heresy I of some level, but I still can't get myself to like really get into the original Dracula for some reason.
Uh,
I don't know. It's just so stinking slow. For me at least, my
yeah.
personally, it's I have a
What you
hard time
got? What
getting
you got
into
to
that.
do then? You got to put in the Spanish version.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I do have the Spanish, but like when I think Universal movies, like I mean, I think the Invisible Man is a quick, easy go-to throw in.
Yep.
Bride of Frankenstein is a quick, easy go throw in.
Of course.
Creature from the Black Lagoon is a quick, easy throw in. Um, the
Wolfman.
Invisible Agent. I've come to freaking love that movie.
Oh,
Absolutely.
nice.
And that has another favorite from Casablanca. What's his name there? Crap. Peter Lorre. I almost looked it
Oh,
up, but I
nice.
didn't. Peter Lorre is so freaking awesome in The Invisible Agent. I think he plays a Japanese agent.
That's hilarious.
It, but he's freaking sinister. It's freaking oh crap, man. He's so freaking sinister in that movie. But yeah, those are a few though. I mean, I think in my latter part of my life, I think Spider Baby has been one of the big like I never knew this movie existed. Holy crap, where has it been all my life?
Oh, yeah.
And then of course we're so fortunate and blessed to live in a day and age when we have, the directors like Frank Darabont getting to put out his Mist in black and white, and then you got the black and chrome edition, or yeah, the black and chrome edition of the Fury Road
Yep. Yeah.
in black
And
and white.
and and then now you're getting stuff that they're actually allowing to be released in black and white, like the Lighthouse, and what was that other one they did? It won an Oscar a few years back. It was like a modern day silent film. I can't remember what it was called.
Oh yeah, I can't remember the name of
Yeah,
that.
but
Oh,
like that.
did you know? I did not know this, but I think I have a reason to try to find the Shameless release of The Beyond.
Oh yeah.
They've got like freaking I'm exaggerating here. But like 6, 7 alternative cuts of that film, depending on the color variation.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, David Lewin was showing me the other day. He was watching it, but on there is the black and white cut.
Oh
Now
nice.
I don't think it's, like when we talk about the Broom edition or we talk about the black and chrome edition of Fury, it's not one of those where I don't think they went back and actually repainted it in those colors, but they had like, well, okay, realistically, I think there was at least four, if I remember right, four variation cuts in different color tints, but one of them was black and white.
Can't go wrong with that, honestly. You
I
really
had
can't.
no idea Shameless had put out their Beyond edition hat was like that.
That's really cool. And I mean, honestly, just when you mentioned the Beyond, I was like, that would look good in black and white. And I was
Yeah,
like, damn.
interesting. Well, anyways, you wanna?
Yeah,
So we are talking about the Thing from Another World, 1951, adapted from a novella in 1938. I think it was released.
I think so.
John Campbell's Who Goes There?
Yep.
Um,
Which has
and
since been made into a full book, we should say.
yes, which I
Because
don't have.
they found all the missing pages or whatever, so
Frozen Hell, right?
yeah, something like that. Um, Still, kind of cool.
Okay, so did you know that with regards to that, I just saw it today. Is it Isaac Asimov?
Hmm.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
I'm not like really huge into the written word as far as science fiction and stuff goes, but I know he's considered one of the greats, right?
yeah.
He thought Who Goes There like was one of the greatest science fiction pieces he had ever read.
Well, yeah, I believe it.
And I thought, wow, for somebody like him to have
Yeah.
that much admiration for that short story, it's and it is a fun read. I freaking have I have the the not the Frozen Hell, but the just the Who Goes There.
Yeah.
That is a fun.
Interesting thing, I actually found it online and printed the entire thing up
What?
because I couldn't find a book like an actual physical copy, so I found it online. And the interesting thing is, though, I'm pretty sure I'm missing like a chapter, or like
How much ink and paper did you use?
it was about I think it was about 20 pages.
That's not too bad. Yeah, I
No,
definitely missing a
on like
chapter.
11 by 14 paper or 8 by 14 paper. So, and I shrunk the words so that I could fit it all in and everything. But really enjoyable story, and definitely one I think that could do with being revisited again, and maybe do closer to the actual source material.
John's gets pretty close, but there's still some things in there.
Yeah,
It's weird when you think about. Well, I don't know. You want to get this started, and then we can just talk.
yeah. Okay, so we're
So we
both
need to both be on main menu, right?
uh yeah. Let's
All
go over
right.
to the main menu right now.
We're gonna have to hurry up because this won't stay long.
I know that's the problem with this particular thing. So we're on the old Warner Brothers DVD. So if you want to, listen along, and we're on the main menu, and count of three, we'll press play. So 1, 2, 3, go. There we go. An RKO
Oh,
radio picture.
God, freaking awesome! I have so grown to love just about any movie I see that begins with an RKO.
Oh yeah.
There
Oh
you go. And
yeah.
Winchester Pictures.
Yep.
And John wanted to use the old RKO as a lead into his film, but for whatever reason, they just would not lend it to him. He couldn't get his hands on it.
Which is really weird because I'm pretty sure didn't Rocky Horror Picture Show use the RKO logo?
I'm not sure. You could be right on that, but I mean, also interesting is George A. Romero was able to use the old Universal logo for his Land of the Dead.
Yeah.
Um,
You know,
Dimitri Tompkin. has to be said, man. Incredible composer. John freaking absolutely loves him. In fact, he mentions on his commentary track on the UK release of the thing of another from another world
Hmm.
that he wanted him to. I swear he wanted him to be um, on his track for the thing, but it didn't work out. And so I wonder if he passed early or
It's certainly possible.
bringing it up.
I
Well, you
just
know what?
love this scene. The
He
fact
died
that,
in 1979.
ah,
So this is yeah, so this is probably back when he was first well, you know, ever since Halloween he was probably thinking about doing it.
oh, I'm sure.
And so he passed in 79, so that's um
I love this scene because it's so 50s. Everybody's smoking.
yes.
You know, dude just they're in the Arctic. He's just walked in wearing just like a trench coat and like a hat. I love it. It's awesome.
It's old feels like his old Kentucky home.
Oh yeah. And I
And
love
it's
this also where they're like everyone's over talking each other.
okay, so yeah, let's just talk about that for a minute. The dialogue in this movie has got to be one of the most natural laid out where they're seemingly talking over each other without really talking over each other, but
Yeah.
they're talking and reacting in such a naturalistic way. But this comes from Howard Hawks. This is one
Oh
of
yeah.
Howard Hawks's traits, right?
Yeah. Which is
And
something that makes me laugh. I mean, we always associate this movie with Howard Hawks, and he was the producer, but he didn't actually direct the movie or anything.
no, Christian
Christian
Nyby, who
Nyby.
was
I mean,
yeah, and he was his editor. And I think it was Red River, a couple movies before the thing from Another World,
mhm.
Western with John Wayne. Um, Apparently, he ran into a little bit of a Hard Hawks ran into a little bit of a problem with that other director, Hughes. That's his first name.
Um,
Apparently, he wasn't thrilled at the ending of Red River. He thought he was copying one of his movies.
ah,
So he basically got Christian Ivy to edit to the point where Hughes was happy and stopped complaining and griping about it. And so, as a favor to Christian Ivy, he gave him this directing assignment, which I think he really wanted it to be his own.
I think so.
Because,
Because I
yeah,
mean, what you have here essentially is when you look at like Poltergeist, where
right.
people are always like, did Joe Dante direct? Not Joe Dante. Well, who directed Poltergeist with Joe Dante?
Toby Hooper.
Toby Hooper. That's
Yeah.
I don't know why my brain wasn't working. Where there's always that, like did he or did like Spielberg direct it? And it's obvious that, how can I put it? That someone had a lot of influence on the way it was filmed and everything, but the other guy directed it.
Right.
Yeah.
And, there's so many. I mean, Howard Hawks had left such an indelible mark on John's life growing up and his growing love for film. And when he
Mhm.
was at USC, of course, he got to he studied this film in particular, but studied a lot of Howard Hawks' stuff. And you'll see
Mhm.
some of the things in here we'll talk about, like not just the naturalness of the conversation that kind of ebb and flows back and forth that just seems so freaking incredible, but the use of squeezing in huge groups of people, moving groups of people in one frame.
Oh yeah.
I think there's one point we'll get there somewhere down the line here where there'll be 17 people in one framing shot.
I love it.
And it's amazing, that you could get 17 in a frame, but that they're all doing something. If they're not talking, they've got reactions, there's something going on. I mean, you could literally look across all 17 and find something going on.
Yeah, very true.
That is freaking
And
Amazing.
we just passed one of my favorite scenes in this entire movie, and that's the whole close the door scene.
Oh yes.
I just love it that his reaction just like close the door,
Yes.
and I love it when he's going out. It's like, I'm heading out, sir. I'll close the door.
Right. Every freaking, this has got to be one of those in terms of dialogue, this has got to be one of my most favorite movies in the entire world. Just for,
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's one of those movies. I mean, look at these guys right here. I mean, it's they come across like they've been best buds their whole freaking life.
yeah, yeah. It seems completely natural, and I love that also. Flying a military jet, cigarette.
Oh yeah, you got your coffee, you got your cigarettes going.
Mhm.
Kenneth Tobey, man. Kenneth Tobey had he was the older cop in The Howling.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was working right up there through the 80s. Small stuff, TV stuff,
Well,
but he managed to get a
working's
few
working though, right? So
well, you said Joe Dante, right? So The Howling,
yeah.
yeah, he was. I love this guy too, man.
Oh yeah. I also
Every
love like I'm pretty sure that's like a stock footage of an actual aircraft, like an actual like Air Force plane or whatever. I just love that it looks like it was just like s- United States Air Force was just kind of stuck on the side.
Now a lot of this, I think, if I remember, was shot up in Juneau, Alaska.
Yeah,
No,
probably.
this was shot in somewhere in the Midwest. Where was this? Crap. Um, Montana.
Ah,
Yeah, a lot of it was Montana, Glacier National Park, Montana.
yeah.
A lot of matte paintings.
Honestly, matte paintings are a technique that is sorely missed as far as I'm concerned. You know, Everything's done CG nowadays, but there was something about matte paintings that was just, it was just something special.
There's a lot of like a lot of scenes in this movie that are just reused. Whether it's camera pans away, comes back, it's the same sky. Pans away, comes back, same sky.
Yeah.
Um, I think
Well, I
when we
mean, that's the thing. If you can pull that off and, and it works.
there you go, group. You got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Well, nine there at a faraway shot, but there'll be plenty of close-up shots with
Uh, one,
this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm like purposely counting everyone in the shots now.
Oh wait, yeah, we'll get to a point where there'll be 17 when they're around the table dissecting the arm.
Excuse me.
So this version has us actually in the North Pole, where the original short story has us in Antarctica, as well as John's film is Antarctica.
Yeah.
But this has us in the North Pole.
I I don't know why they changed it. All I can think is maybe back then people thought North Pole cold, as opposed to like Antarctica, somewhere where they couldn't even comprehend. I guess I don't know.
But the beautiful Margaret Sheridan.
Oh yeah, I love these interactions between these two because
I
it
love it.
it feels like real.
It does. I love it when she calls him a throwback. This whole freaking movie's a throwback.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he just throws a cigarette on the floor. It's freaking awesome, man. Well, cigarettes are cheap enough back then. Pack probably what, 25 cents.
Yeah, probably.
You could throw a cigarette on the floor once in a while. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
But and again, Hard Hawks. I mean, she's really a strong woman. That was a Hard Hawks mark.
Hmm.
Very strong female leads.
Oh yeah, and
It's
that's
so funny. We're gonna be like this movie, man. We both love this movie. We're gonna be like talking over each other.
oh yeah. Well, nothing wrong with that.
I was just gonna say, like, I mean, when we talk about cinema today, it's like I think we always, our first, we want to just bring up, like, say, Sigourney Weaver from Alien or whatever. But I mean, Howard Hawks back in the day, man, and he wasn't the only one, but a lot of movies from back in the day had strong female leads.
Oh yeah, and I mean, the thing is, like people always reckon about like with the older movies, it's like, oh, all like the women doing it is they stand around and scream and be saved by the men. It's like, have you watched any of these movies? I mean, I don't think her character screams once in the entire movie, does she?
No, in fact, it's funny you
Just
said
come.
that because the whole overarching vibe of this whole movie, at least from the military side of things, is is an abnormally very cool and um to everything that's happening.
Yeah,
I mean, they never lose their sense of humor in the entire movie, even though the things around them keep getting ratcheted up, ratcheted up, ratcheted up in terms of the danger level. But you would never know it around these guys. These guys, and I'm including Margaret Sheridan's character in that, Nikki,
hmm,
but they're, and that too is interesting about this movie is back then, of course, 1951, we're, just entering into the Cold War.
yeah,
And so there's a lot of real fears that are driving the public. But here in this movie, the military are your good guys, and the scientists are your bad guys,
yeah, yeah.
and it's so
And
funny. But
especially like nowadays, it's almost like the complete opposite.
it is almost, it seems like. But then I thought about Day of the Dead. You could almost
Mhm.
argue both sides are filled with lunatics.
Oh yeah.
Because you got Dr. Frankenstein on the one, but then you got the Joe Pilato's character on the other.
Hmm.
Um,
I've always thought with Day of the Dead that the only ones that are actually like decent people are the zombies.
or the helicopter pilots.
Yeah.
Those two guys are pretty. They just want to sit out there in their little makeshift patio and
Yeah. Man.
see, like right here, you rarely get these kind of close-ups in this movie with two or three.
Yeah. I love this also. The dude in the back, you know, he's just stood there, but he's like looking at things and everything. He's not just.
Something is always going on.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, that's what made so many, if not all, so many of these black and white movies. So they were, in a sense, they were the ultimate escape, but they were an extension of reality because it felt so stinking real.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've one thing I've always done. Well, not always, but I learned about this, and then since I learned about it, like whenever I'd watch it, I'd do this. But if ever you watch the Three Stooges, don't look at like Moe or Curly. Watch Larry, because he's usually in the background just doing something like that you don't even realize. But if you watch him, watch his reactions and everything, it's sometimes more entertaining than what's going on in the foreground. And that's something that this does as well. You got everybody doing stuff. Like, look at the guy in the back there.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be there, but it just adds more to the scene.
Yeah, we're quickly coming up to the point where we find our saucer.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. And I at least on this snapper, on this really, if you just wait right there's something there. I've always tried to figure out what the heck was at
Ooh.
the beginning point where the saucer first hit. There's something there sticking out of the ice. It looked like.
Uh, I don't know.
I've always caught that, but there's something. Yeah, it doesn't matter who comes into frame, who's taught. It's so natural.
It is. It really is. And like it just works. And you believe that these characters are who they are playing. You believe that Dr. Carrington is actually like a kind of stuck up, like know-it-all scientist.
So right there, that has to be a matte painting in the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the same. God, I love this score, man. The score is so freaking awesome.
It is.
And it really does breathe so much life into this movie.
Yeah.
Like I can't even imagine how some of these scenes would be without the score.
Mm. One thing, if I was a filmmaker and I was making this movie that I would have done in this scene, though, I would have had the dogs, like, acting up.
Yeah, now it's funny that we're here right here at this scene because in the original Campbell story,
Mm.
there's like what three or four or five of those things floating down underneath the surface,
Yeah.
trapped in the ice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think if I remember in the short story, they actually drill down and carve their way through the ice to the craft.
Yeah.
You got part of the wing sticking up.
I love it. I just love that. It's like, Barnes, bring some tools. It's not like bring me like a cutting torch, bring me something. It's just bring some random
Yeah,
tools. Doesn't
he
matter
knows,
what.
man. He knows what to bring.
Yeah. Mm.
And it's funny because here in the early goings, Carrington, he does have a lot of sway and stuff in terms of his position of authority, but that authority will erode really quickly.
Oh yeah. I mean,
And
that's something that I really like about this movie. Like you see a lot where you'll have like the doctor, for example, who will be like in charge, and like they'll be like throwing their weight around all the time and everything, and you know it's obvious, like with something like this it would be the military would take control. I love that. It's just like gets like a file and he's filing on it.
two, we should probably mention before this movie gets too far in the. I was just looking it up. The Roswell incident was 47.
I'm sure then that this is
Oh, there's so much playing in terms of what's in the public's conscience. You got the Roswell incident, you got the Cold War going, you've got the threat of communism, you've got,
hmm
And it's interesting here, this pushing the whole freedom of press thing. And and it's weird. I didn't thought about it before, but he's, the military, until they're directed otherwise, are going to lock things down. And yet they are the good guys in the movie, beyond a shadow
Yeah.
of a doubt. Even when, even when he won't let him communicate to the outside.
Hmm. It's a standard
SOP.
that standard operating procedure for removing ice. We just use thermite.
Awesome. That gives me flashbacks.
Yeah, that's one thing. I'd have had like the dogs be like acting up a bit, kind of like that they realize something is up where the humans don't. But that's just me.
Now, apparently, the shaking that's going to start hitting was
Mhm.
done in post editing.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And once it blows, it'll be one of the few times, at least here in these moments, the camera pans upward and actually be a real sky.
Ah,
Yep, there it's that's all real up there.
I dig the fact that this spaceship has flown through space, survived re-entry and everything, but a bit of thermite blows it up and leaves nothing. Like it's all gone.
Hey, really, he's is his name Ned in here, the journalist? He's your only he's the only one that brings any real criticism to the military.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you expect it from the scientific side, because they want the freedom to just pursue whatever course they feel necessary.
Hmm.
But he does, yeah, Ned Scott. He does get to finally close out the film with a pretty epic mini speech there,
Oh yeah. I mean,
which
let's
is
be honest.
awesome.
It's a speech that people remember, but don't necessarily know it's from this.
Right. No, I mean the clearest example is John um, um, ripping it off for the fog.
Oh yeah.
Except it's of course Adrian Barbeau, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just love that United States Air Force, and it just looks like it's like been taped on. I know it hasn't. I know that's probably how they actually looked back then, but still.
This is great. I love this humor right here.
Oh yeah.
a mild form of mass hysteria.
Yeah. I just love this. You know,
This
it's
I
like
know. This is great.
you're like, oh yeah, that one. I love it. I love it.
And the thing is here they've got, for all intents and purposes, they've got an alien creature in the back there in ice, and they're just joking.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there are more dogs there than they had on the plane.
It's so funny to think right now that he thinks everything is going his way.
Oh yeah.
It's all going to be coming to an end here real quick.
Yeah.
That the real first confrontation between these two is about to hit.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because you would almost expect what's happening here would be polar opposite for each side, but it's the military that's using restraint and caution
Yeah.
and reason, and the scientists that are saying, "Oh no, just throw all that out the window. We would just want to dive right into this."
Yeah. I just love how they went from, like open that window to break that window. Yeah.
Nice, quiet horror story. Yeah, if there's only one scene in the entire movie that always puts a little question mark in my head is, of all blankets, an electric blanket.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I
I
mean,
mean, whatever. It is what it is. It's
yeah.
easiest way to get this thing thought out, and now I remember some of this dialogue here has roots in the short story. Just the whole idea of what kind of a viral threat might this bring.
Yeah.
The movie, it hints at the short story where it can. Um,
Hmm.
Even towards the end of the movie, um, bringing up the infectious dream
Hmm.
thing, but so much of the original story had to be left behind. Just there was just no way to do it.
Yeah. Very true. Mhm.
So even there, you got 7 guys in frame,
Oh yeah.
and it looks so natural.
Yeah. It really does.
And it's so funny because you know, Captain Henry there, his he's so low key. Even when he's dealing with conflict, it's just a matter of no, this is how it's going to be, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
Which is funny because if you think about the 2011 thing, um, our girl character is the only one that tries to bring some level of restraint, but it's easily shrugged off as, look, you're here for one reason only, so just shut up and let me
Yeah.
do my thing. Here, the scientists are completely restrained
Hmm.
by the military that's on hand.
Yeah.
And it's morally justified all the way through the end of it. Because I mean, once Carrington's plans start unfolding of what he's trying to do, it just makes the military look that much better.
Yeah, definitely.
I love it. Even their downtime, man. Keep the tie on,
Yeah.
shave it.
I just love the fact that they've all just sort of decided he's from Mars. I love it. Like, man from
What's new?
Mars.
What more do you want? That's like, he kind of just like, yeah, we picked up an alien. Yeah, it's making a little bit of a stir, but it'll be all right.
Pogo sticks, kitty cars, dog gondolas.
Nothing about you, though.
I wonder the newspaper guy. I wonder how much of his character design was based on Glenn Miller. 'Cause he looks a lot like Glenn Miller. Hmm. I love that.
Who would not go into battle with this guy, man?
Yeah.
These two are really, really great to watch.
They really are. I mean, it just works.
If you notice the snow blowing in the window,
Yeah, yeah,
it's like the same pattern.
yeah. Probably just some guy out there just chucking it. I just love that he takes it. He takes off the rope
I know.
himself. You know, it's just like, okay.
Doesn't even notice until she lights a cigarette.
The length of time it takes to notice it, yeah.
Long enough.
Mhm.
So the question is, do they really kiss or no?
Who knows? So here's what I want to know. He has an electric flying suit. So why did they need an electric blanket as well?
Well, I mean, the intent here is to keep this thing as a block of ice. So I don't know what you use as any other device to get him out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
You
you'd
know, it's
think
funny.
the you'd think that the cord running off of it would have given it away.
Well, you would have thought though at some point, yeah. So the implication is he doesn't. You don't think he realizes it's an electric blanket?
Yeah, like he just threw it on to cover it up,
Right.
but didn't realize it was.
Yeah, I guess that's the most plausible way to look at this is he didn't even realize these dogs are here you go. Your dogs are starting to realize something's up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the sort of thing. Like if you played that up a little bit earlier, like when they were first going for the ship and everything, if they were like, they realized something was up then.
They really do take their time too, as far as when you get to see
Hmm.
the James Arness creature.
I love that he still has the gun pointed.
I know. Go get that cup of water. There you go. So And then it's
Get
about the
back to
worst.
sleep. I love that.
That's about the worst you get as far as like, starting to break down or
Yeah. I still can't help but think, even with an electric blanket on top, wouldn't there be a lot of water on the floor? Like, we must save him. It's like, no. I love that. Two dogs fighting and the other one's just kind of hanging around. It was like, okay.
yeah, I love Pat, man. No fear.
Yeah.
It's like that's like why McCready's so cool to watch too. He doesn't want the leadership, but he just takes the leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And that had to have startled your I mean, I don't know how young kids would have been sitting in a movie theater back in 51 watching this on a Saturday matinee.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's definitely scenes in here that had to have startled,
Oh, I'm sure.
especially the dog in the box.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have two partial, so 9. Two of them being partial.
I love that. This kind of arm, yes.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up to 14, 15.
I love how he's like, you know I don't think it can die. It's like, dude, you've seen it for like a matter of minutes. How do you know?
And here's another thing I'm just sort of picking up on for maybe the very first time. You get the girl scientist back there.
Hmm.
How she's treated on the science side of things and how Margaret Sheridan's character is treated on the military side of things,
Hmm.
it's different. It's different.
Yeah.
It's like the
Yeah.
scientists don't pay her the same amount of respect that Margaret Sheridan's Nikki gets on the other side.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Because she's always sort of the girl scientist is always she's always in the background.
Yeah.
And she'll try to get her 2 cents in, but it's not like any of the guys really care.
Hmm.
It's interesting. So definitely, this is a very, 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 very pro-military movie.
It is. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be honest. A lot of you know 50s like sci-fi was, fairly pro-military. Because it's like, who's going to come in and save the day? It's going to be the military. Yeah, we've got to a point now where it's like, if you have a military character in a movie nowadays, it's like they're more than likely going to be the bad guy. I love that. Not recently.
It's so funny. Nikki's always got this like really calm, reserved look. And look at the girl. The science girl. She's just like emotionally all over the map.
Oh yeah,
It's so funny. I've never really picked up on her before.
yeah. Seed pod. He's making some big like suppositions there. It's like it has no emotions. It's like, how do you know? Has enough emotion to be kind of pissed off that he got its arm ripped off.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, it's funny you said that. Isn't that funny? Because in the original story, as a result of digging through the ice, they embed the axe in the head of the alien.
Yeah.
And of course, in Carpenter's movie, it's McCready's you know woke up, probably not in the best moods.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice little optical trick there. Someone's just got their arm on the table moving it.
Oh yeah.
But just the camera, where the head is, everything, it's a great simplistic trick.
It really is. Here you go, have an axe.
And that's one of the things John mentions in his commentary track. Um, there's no real sense of direction at all with these corridors. They just go,
They do, yeah.
and it's
That
really hard to follow the schematic layout of this place and where things are or aren't. But it works. It's just it doesn't even matter, and nothing in this movie matters. It's all believable. It's all.
yeah, it really is.
And I can't remember if we actually really mentioned that while we're recording, but John Carpenter does give a just an absolute brilliant commentary track on the UK release of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for those of you listening who want to try to hunt it down, um, it's 2 disc with 3 cuts of the film. An older black and white cut with John Carpenter's commentary track on it, an unauthorized color version, and then a pretty well cleaned up black and white cut on a separate disc, which remastered black and white cut.
Very cool.
There's nothing like listening to John Carpenter talk about this movie. I mean, his love for Howard Hawks. Um, you can tell a lot of what Howard Hawks meant to him found its way into a lot of his movies. You gotta love the Geiger counter here. This little invention here has been copied so many times throughout film history.
Yep.
You know, maybe most effectively Alien with tracking the alien.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
See, keeping information to himself. He sees something going on, but he is no way he's gonna.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when you think of it, like the actual like deaths that happen in this movie are entirely his fault.
Well, yeah, he's responsible for it. Well, bare minimum, those two that he puts on guard that aren't uh, hung upside down.
Yeah.
So look at Captain America still laughing, man. Just still. The box. Imagine you could imagine people just sitting at the edge of their seats in the movie theater back then.
Oh, for sure.
The heck's in the box? What the heck's in the box?
And that's actually quite an effective looking dead dog.
Yeah.
Everything falls right into line. It's like, yeah, okay. Like, I'm sure we can communicate with it. Like, what makes you think that?
Yeah, he's definitely running his own operation there.
Oh, yeah.
Tropical Tilly. I love the little things you never really picked up on.
Oh, yeah. Knowledge at once.
Our first casualty.
Yep.
It's a nice little head wound there.
It is.
Yeah, I love it when he says, "Bolt your doors." Isn't it in Halloween when they're playing the intro for the thing that will come on the TV? The little ad thing is, "Bolt your doors, lock your windows."
Yep.
That was his own little personal TV set with his own VHS copy of this movie.
That's awesome. Little things like that are what, are what make scenes like that.
This is great.
Oh yeah.
Brah!
I love how his like first reaction is, I'm gonna shoot through like the metal door. I love it.
Some kid threw his popcorn right there at that scene, man.
Definitely. I mean, when I first saw this, that actually made me jump when I was a kid. It wasn't necessary. I love it. You better
Yeah, I
move.
loved it. Do you know Dr. Carrington there? He was in War of the Worlds.
Was he? Who did he play?
Dr. Pryor.
Oh, never realized that.
He even made it into Cheers. That's funny.
Oh.
And Buck Rogers. Tons of TV.
Mhm. Would you care to listen to them? It's like, okay. Gotta love it. There's no enemies in science. It's like, yeah, except for the ones trying to, like, use you as a food source.
I love that little cover this up.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of scary to think that a Dr. Carrington, without the kind of restraint that is forced upon him, what he ultimately will do with that stuff.
Oh yeah.
It does kind of remind you a little bit of um oh, what's his name's character from um Alien Covenant, how he just becomes the most wicked Dr. Frankenstein.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, what's his name? I know you mean. The name's just escaping me right now.
I can't remember who was the more wicked one. Was it David or Walter?
uh,
Those were the two in Covenant.
yeah, I think it was
David, right?
David. Yeah. Oh, that no, but you can come in.
And still got what's his name back there in the background. Gotta love it.
Yeah. He's still smoking a cigarette.
I'm pretty sure John mentioned in his commentary that this was like the first full body burn.
Yeah, I seem to remember hearing something about that.
And it's freaking effective.
It is. I mean, it's just like, yeah.
That is freaking outstanding.
It really is. I mean, and the fact that they're literally just throwing, like, kerosene on him or whatever it was they're using as an accelerant while filming it.
14 in frame there. Dang.
We're very proud of our captain.
Oh, this is good. Huh. So they filmed this in an ice box.
Oh, well,
It was low 30s, I think. They were able to keep the temperature
nothing
in
beats
order
like
to
actually seeing people's
real breath.
breath, and you can tell the difference between real breath and like CG.
You can see, oh, even Nikki right now, man, you can tell she's cold.
Yeah.
You can see it in her eyes, man. That's like the most distraught you've seen her the whole movie. She's like,
Yeah.
seriously, we really got to do this, and I can't act. Does she ever not look absolutely stunning in this movie?
I don't think so. Always looks good. Isn't it kind of funny that he's like essentially wearing like a Russian hat?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, considering, height of the Cold War and everything.
You know, one more reason to hate his character. Yeah, you gotta imagine people in the theater, freaking Russian. I knew it, freaking Russian.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
I've been, that's oh, That's the thing we never really think about the cultural norms that you would get to see witness if you could go back in time and just sit in a movie theater watching a movie like this,
Oh yeah,
listening to people react out loud and saying things that would just it just catch you off guard. You just wouldn't be expecting it or
yeah. I love that. Like, you can't ignore orders. Like, testify at my court martial.
so that's funny. He wants he wants the captain to abide by a strict code of authority, but he is his own authority.
Yeah. They should have just kind of, tied him up and shoved him in like a closet or something.
Well, they should have because he almost bungles this thing up for them
Yep.
and almost gets himself killed in the process.
Yep. I love that. The fact that, all this has gone on and he hasn't got a single picture.
Ah,
Classic. Like, what if he can read our minds?
Vicky Cleaver. Here we go.
I love the fact that they put all the barricades there, but the door opened the other way.
Too bad, they say James Arness kind of disowned his role in this. That's too bad.
It is. Don't get me wrong. It's not what's it called? Like a super like strong acting role, but it's a solid piece of film history.
Yeah, James Arness was in Them too.
He was in what?
Them.
Ah. Oh yeah, he was, wasn't he? He played
Yep.
the dude. I just love this. It's like, I will talk to you. Believe that. And he's just like, yeah, no, go away.
That was a nice little stunt there.
Yeah. And nothing beats rotoscoping for, creating
And right
electricity
there's a little
essentially.
person. They'll get a little person to play him right there,
Yeah.
which is great.
I just love that they literally reduce him to like a little pile of goo.
I know how often is it in movies today? It's like you don't see that.
Nope.
You got
Nope.
to leave room for that last. It'd be nice if for once we just saw a movie where the killer just was laid on. That was it.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like I always said, slasher movie, you beat on that killer's head until there's nothing left, just meat sauce. No, none of this like hit him once, then drop the weapon. I love here that the first reaction is just like, okay, we'll put the press guy on.
And it's kind of funny, even with all the antagonism and between Henry and Carrington, good words will be said about him at the end.
Yeah.
That level of civility you just don't see anymore.
Yeah. Our captain always getting into trouble. I love that.
Isn't it funny how the our secondaries are up front now, while the principals are obscured in the back?
Yeah, yeah. Hmm. That's like a perfect ending.
Yeah.
Keep watching the skies. And that's the thing, who knows that line from just pop culture as a whole, but never realized it's from this. And I love that
Does
that was the that was the credits, you know?
yeah,
Literally like 30 seconds done.
30 seconds done, and you're going back, buying another ticket to go right back in again.
Yeah, exactly. This is a movie I would have loved to have seen in the theaters.
It makes you wonder how the reaction was. People coming out, at the end of those short credits there.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, like, this movie's something special. You know, I honestly believe that. And I think there's a reason that, in 2022, we're still talking about it.
Yeah, it does. I think there's so many neat qualities there that you just don't see. You don't see in film anymore. You don't.
Very true.
The level of sophistication that somebody like Howard Hawks was able to just perfect and I mean, I think John actually did a really good job with his version. Um, not so much like I don't think he was able to. I mean, like with the overlapping conversations, but a lot of the conversations that did take place in his film felt very natural too,
Yeah, definitely.
but without the sophistication, sophistication of being continuous and overlap. And of course, you're not dealing with the same number of characters either. But I think there's that one scene where John has pretty much all of his principles in one framing shot.
Hmm.
I think when McCready's basically starting to unload for the first time what they're all facing or dealing with.
Yeah.
But a lot of that, see, and that's the thing too. I mean, you've mentioned it, too, but a lot of what John does in his, I mean, I don't consider what he did a remake, so called, but what drives him to do, from a technical point of view, to do a lot of what he does in his film is anchored and rooted in his admiration for Howard Hawks and this movie, for
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
But
you definitely see it.
I mean, the only thing missing, really, the only thing Hawksian missing from John's movie is a strong female lead.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at his other movies, I mean, Adrienne Barbeau was always that strong female lead.
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
She really in The Fog is your typical Hawksian type female lead.
Yeah, definitely. And well, it's when you look at John Carpenter's filmography as a whole, he always has, let's just say he has no like pansies for his women characters. They're all relatively, strong, independent characters and everything. There's no well, I mean, you get characters that like scream during scenes and everything, but you know, even then they're still smart enough to try to do stuff.
Well, I mean, you think about can't think of her character name. Adrienne Barbeau's character in The Fog
Yeah.
makes the conscious, willing decision to stay and be that voice for those who are having to deal with this fog, rather than just abandon her position to go try to find her son.
Yeah, which would have made sense. I mean,
Right.
you know,
But
like
it's kind of like an old sort of, well, I mean, it's said in this movie that quality is a throwback quality to, maintaining your duty, and, have hope that, things are going to work out, but don't abandon your post mentality.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, she was the only voice, the only voice those people had, because everyone was tuned into the radio station. So if they wanted to know what's going on, I mean, hers was the only real voice,
yeah, definitely.
which is an intriguing, not to completely switch gears into another movie, but it's just intriguing, the level of things that John has taken from Howard Hawks and placed.
Yeah, and I mean, when you actually look for it, you can see it. You know, and it's stuff that normally you probably wouldn't even think twice about. But then you actually look and you're like,
And it's funny too, because he mentions repeatedly in his commentary track on this movie that movies are always a byproduct of their time, you
mm-hmm.
know, that they're made in. And you see it with this, and you see it with his movies. I mean, he's as much of, Escape from New York, as much as impacted by the world that he sees around him as, Christian Nyby and Howard Hawks would have been in the world they lived in.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Where this is so pro-military, so pro-authority, but then you get to Escape from New York and it's so anti-authority.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's weird, because if you think about, that's the tension in John's movies, the tension that exists between him as a director and um his anti-authoritarian,
Mm-hmm.
there is a tension there, because like in The Thing, you have the captain, the captain who's supposed to be the authority figure, who relinquishes that authority, but they're not getting out of that situation without real authority.
Yeah.
And that, of course, comes from McCready, who really doesn't want it, but is unafraid to step into it, which makes his character so freaking awesome, because it's nothing is laid out there spoon fed to you. It just happens.
Yeah, exactly. Which
So,
is the sort of thing that a lot of modern movies, I think they feel that, yeah, they have to spell everything out for you. And it just let things happen naturally.
yeah, and that
It
was,
just works.
in The Thing, that was at least a good market character on the captain's part, to relinquish his authority to McCready without a fight,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
I never really
definitely.
thought about until right now, as we're talking about this stuff. It,
Yeah.
it it's a willing sort of, once he puts that gun down, and tries to, push the authority off, on Norris first.
Yeah.
It's just a sort of quiet, okay, I might have been the man in charge, but yeah, I wasn't wired for this situation.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a perfectly valid response.
And the man who does have to take authority, all he really wants to do is go up to his shack and get drunk.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah, it is such a freaking awesome movie.
Very true. Very true.
Well, maybe we'll get to the point somewhere where we'll get another release of this thing, and no pun intended there. with John Carpenter's commentary track made more available too, because it is such an awesome thing to listen to.
Yeah, I
But
mean that's one thing that this movie has always lacked, like any form of like commentary track. So the fact that John Carpenter, it's just like it just goes like hand in hand, right?
yeah, I haven't heard it, but I mean, I would imagine the same might apply for listening to Rob Zombie's commentary track on Monsters Go Home.
Yeah.
Um, that's something we need to see more of. And I know sometimes you'll get a director that will put down a fan commentary track, but
Mm,
I mean, I love film historians. I love, when Stephen Thrower or somebody like that, gives a but like I mean, and the Nash cast is great when you hear them on a commentary track for something like Tombs of the Blind Dead. But it would be great to get more directors that would be called upon to lay it down a commentary track for a movie that inspired them.
yeah, that is like, genuinely interesting.
Like Peter Jackson. I mean, I would love to hear a commentary track laid on the original King Kong, since that movie is what more than any other inspired him.
Yeah, that would be really interesting.
He saw that. I'm pretty sure he saw that on a rerun at the theater.
Yeah,
Um,
and you know, like see where he is now.
so, anyways, just say I guess say it one more last time. The uh, John's commentary track that I keep mentioning is on the UK Universal release of The Thing from Another World, which is a UK release, and I just got to find it on Amazon UK, and you got to be region free. And
Yeah, I mean, this is a movie that definitely deserves like like a collector's edition. Let's say that. And if you got to go to another region to get it, you know what? Nothing wrong with that.
yeah, the commentaries out there. I don't know. All they got to do is pick it up, and or I know, Warner's already released it on Blu-ray over here, but it's kind of too bad that Universal didn't release it on a Blu over here, and maybe they would have just slid the commentary track over.
That would have been good. That would have been really good.
But,
Yeah.
all right, any last thoughts on The Thing from Another World from 1951?
Just that it is a classic movie. If you have never seen it, I don't know why you're listening to this if you've never seen it, but if for some reason you haven't seen it, rectify that as soon as possible.
Absolutely. It is on Blu-ray now. It's got a nice Blu-ray release. Um, as well, I'm sure you can still find the old snapper case DVD
Oh
out
yeah.
there. But for anything else, I mean, I'm sure it's got to be streaming somewhere. It's got to be, I would
Oh,
imagine.
it has to be. Yep.
Great film.
Yeah. So there we go. A commentary on The Thing from Another World. Hope everyone enjoyed it. We will see you again next time. See ya.
Out.